Alright, so on the bus, let's see. New York President Department, driving by, flashing their lights. Driving really fast too, so couldn't really take my phone out and record them. There's somebody like he's doing over there, dropping cans on the floor. Coming up this way, they had a unmarked vehicle with lights flashing in its tail lights, and then there was a guy wearing a red jacket sticking his finger in his ears. He was doing something. I think he was sticking his finger in his ears. Okay. So yeah. Anyhow. What was I saying? So yeah, fam. So as I was saying goodnight to her, she didn't even look at me to say goodnight. You know what she looked at? She stared into her closet. Like literally. Didn't even look at me. Just looked straight into her closet. And that's why you see that white woman, you know, because I understand how they target me, particularly using her. Like I said, the way how women today, you see on social media, some of these black women talking about, oh, we should, you know, us single mothers should date each other. This is the type of conditioning that's being done, right? And it's sad because as a community of people, particularly black people, we've fallen victim to, you know, these warfare that is waged on us as a people and as individuals. And we tend not to look at the totality of white racism for what it really is, what it encompasses. And you see again, come up a different time. You see the white guy again, always the same white guy. Look, right? Always for the past few nights, I've been coming home, being the exact same white guy, and I've left at different times too. So he's either walking, but I think he came out of a car this time. You know, hey, I guess threesome must feel nice. You know, because it's always that either the white guy, white girl, or bisexual theme, and you know what have you. I don't really care. That's, like I said, it's her business. I've asked her if she is. She said no, so I'll take her word for it. You know, do I really believe it? No, but you know, until she tells me otherwise, you know. Yep, so until she told me otherwise. So, and as I stopped here, looked at the silver truck, you heard the car honking. Hear it again as I mentioned it. You know, so yeah. So like I said, you know, it's not, you know, ask her, you know, I mean, she's never really been 100% honest with me. So, you know, who knows, but like I said, that's her business. And if she is, then that's her. It ain't my lifestyle though. Like I said, they try that shit with me and it doesn't work. I am solidified in who I am. When I raise my kids, they are solidified who they are. You know, because I'm constantly asking them, I'm like, you're heterosexual, right? And all of a sudden he's like, yeah, I am. I was like, okay, because I've been talking to my kids since, like, even my daughter and my son, Ethan and Alyssa, 14 and 10. I've been speaking about this agenda since they were young. I spoke to Alyssa about it when she turned 7, and Ethan, he was probably around 10 years old. Because I see what's being done. You know, like I said, and it's something that they hate because I'm exposing what it is that they're doing. Because I'm able to see the condition and what it is that they're doing. I'm able to understand the technology being used. You know, and also in the environmental warfare, particularly when it comes to poisoning of waters with lead, which leads to a decline in cognitive ability, which leads to not having the ability to control your emotions. And on top of that, being raised in single homes headed by mothers, right? It's like a double whammy, particularly for boys and girls, but particularly for young boys. Okay, particularly for young black boys, because black men and black boys feel the brunt of this racist system. Okay, and so, and even today, I got to tell my son, I said, listen, I don't want you kissing no girl. If they try to kiss you, tell them no. Okay, I said, you can be their friend. I said, don't be trying to touch them in any sort of way, anything like that. All right? I said, because your age, enjoy being a teenager, right? Which means don't think about these girls. Some of these girls are raised, again, in homes where there's no father in the house, and their mothers let them dress all kind of way, and like I said, I can tell my parent, like when he had to go out with one of his friends, female. She told me it was 2. Then he told me it was 1. And she didn't see anything wrong with it. She didn't ask to speak to the girl's parents or nothing. I'm just like, I said to her, I was like, how can you do that? How you gonna send your child out there, with some, but yeah, it's a girl, but so it's like, do you understand, particularly today, the mindset of particularly of young black women today? It's worse, right? They glorify stripper culture, right? Every picture they take is they're showing their asses, they're shaking their asses, they're twerking on social media, hypersexualized. Right? I tell my son today, I said, listen, you can catch STDs by kissing. Okay, there's STDs catch by kissing. Okay, so don't think that. And I said, and you look at the statistics of young teenage boys and girls, okay, particularly in the black community, right? STD is rampant. It's been rampant. But again, it's part of the white racist plan and to weaponize us against each other. All right? And a lot of women today, even older women, don't get tested for STDs. They don't. You can see that in states, in cities where you have outbreaks of STDs, and you look at the women who are giving birth to children that has congenital STD infection, and it's black women. They're the most. All right? And I'm not excusing the black men either. We're conditioned again into this sort of thinking. There's studies done. There's studies done that in terms of condom usage, right? And people can't understand how is it that even though you had HIV, all this stuff, why people don't use condoms? They still don't use it, right? Because they're conditioned. They're conditioned not to use it. They sometimes don't even think about it. There was a study from the NIH. They talk about Stelton, right? And you had the teenage boys and teenage girls. In the middle of the sex, they would take the condom off. Okay, I mean, it's telling, right? But as teenagers, also we're growing up, not being taught properly the truth about sex and the negatives in particular. It's like I grew up in the 80s. My teenage years in the 80s, and then in the 90s, you become young adults, right? So a lot of things, again, not having a father in the home. Most of your friends you hang out with, don't have that either. And sometimes you form your own little clique, and your clique, sometimes you behave a certain way. But again, like I said, you're younger. As you get older, you're supposed to grow and mature and understand certain things. Now I became a TI, and I just started to look at things differently, not just from my targeting, right? I started to listen to other TIs and compare, including my brother, who was a target from the 90s, right? And I started to study these things, study the psychology of these things, the technology, And once you know history, you know about the technology. Like I said, you have insight into these things, right? You have, as I say, insight. There, use police sirens. So you have insight into these things, and from that, because you can see this is a program, and it's every generation. A large number of black young men and black teenage boys and girls, black young men and women go through the same thing. I got to tell Pam all the time. I say, you have a pattern that keeps repeating over and over again, but you can't see it. I said, I'm trying to make you become aware of it so that you will avert certain things. But her personality is so deeply shaped that it's hard for her to see anything that's wrong. Like for example, I keep telling her stop doing the kids' hair on a Sunday because she do it late, and the kids end up going to bed around 12, 1 o'clock. And what she says to me, She was like, well, I was doing laundry and I was cooking. I said, Pamela, that doesn't this is why you need to do it earlier. I said, but you like to do things late because everybody got to wait until you'll be on the phone for the entire day, right? While you're doing laundry, but then at 7 o'clock, now you're thinking about, okay, I need to go cook. Then you got to go out to the store if you don't have food in the house to get, and then she says to me, she says, come from a person that don't know how to do hair, I shouldn't say anything. And I look at her, I'm like, really? I said, this is what I'm talking about, because you don't see how it affects the kids. So they go to bed late, they're late for school in the morning, really late, because my son, he misses his first period class, and halfway through his second period class is when he gets to school. My daughter doesn't get to school until 9 o'clock, right? They come home, they go to sleep. And they sleep all through the afternoon, wake up again in the middle of the night, have to go back to sleep again. And you sleeping because you talk about how you tired. And you wake up late, they wake up late. That's what I told my son. I said, you wake up in the morning, don't eat, if you know you're going to be late, don't eat breakfast. Take the card that you have and buy some breakfast on the way, But yeah, that's what she says to me. She was like, because I can't do hair, so I can't say nothing. Like you can't even say, these. I can't. Like I said, sometimes I'm, you can hear frustrated. I get very, very frustrated. And I told her, I said, I get frustrated with you because no one can talk to you. I can't talk to you. You take everything as an attack. Like I told her, I said, I am not. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Whatever. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. See what they do. Anyhow, yeah, and I'm just like, come on now. I said, I tell you this over and over again. I used to do the same thing. Then when somebody else tells somebody else what I said, and they're like, he's right. Then all of a sudden, oh, I hear you. But that only lasts for a week, right? Because what happened? The next time, she does the same thing over and over again. And she don't want nobody to tell anything. Look at this person over here in the window over there. He's wearing a coat inside. He's not coming outside now. He's wearing a black coat. So again, using the color black, right? Look at him. Across the street. He's been standing there since look, he keep looking over here too. He keep looking over here too. Anyhow, listen, like I just said, it's just frustrating, and they have her under control, under strict control. And like I tell all the time, I say, what they're manipulating you. They're manipulating you to get to me. But because of your personality, your narcissistic personality trait that they've conditioned into you, you can't see it. You're about short-term gratification instead of looking at the long-term goal, right? Like she don't think about these things, right? It's about the fantasy. It's about the having fun, and then you're tired because you have all these issues, and the kids suffer, and you don't care. And you think I should be here, I should be there because I'm not working, so I should be there 24/7, Then you want to tell me because, whenever I try to do, like I said, look, even though we're in a relationship, I still do things for you. I still do things for you because I still care for you, right? Like when like I said, she had alopecia and she felt really bad, and, shaved my head, and I said, look, I'm in solidarity with you, and I kissed her on her forehead. And what she told me? Oh, you gotta be careful because you better watch out because you might get a sexual assault charge. I'm like, what? To say some shit like that to me, okay? To me, right? Meanwhile, she going out with dudes who's probably doing worse than who they should, you know what I'm saying? Because I know at times she comes back, she looks like something is wrong. And I'm just like, oh, But some people, they wallow in their condition. They don't try to change, They don't try to do anything to better themselves. Because again, they're being manipulated psychologically, so they're thinking that it's God. It's not God. You're being manipulated by a coercive persuasion program, and as well as using technology to control your mind, to manipulate you, right? And again, this is why they need to keep us highly religious. As black people, they need to keep us highly religious. This is why we're not, when you look at blacks in science, okay, those of us who are very brilliant in the science field are working for companies that benefit white people. Okay, and again, very, very few. We'll look at the percentage. Less than less than what is it, 6 or 5%, okay, compared to 69% white. Another what is it, 13% Asian. Hispanics, I can't remember the exact tally, but yeah, that's why they have to keep us religious. That's why they use terms like black girl magic. Black women, they're like, oh yeah, black girl magic, and they get all happy and shit, right? Or they they'll use we got there's a supernatural event happening for black people, and you need to, what I'm saying, they got you believing in superstition while they're using the technology that they've gotten from our ancestors. They improved on it, they continue to advance from that to better themselves and their people, but to keep us highly religious and highly ignorant. But because they know that I know exactly what it is, it's not, it's watching Midvision. One of the guys was talking, he's like, once you understand technology and you have the knowledge, you start to see things more clear, as instead of looking at things with this religious superstitious eye and mind. And he's absolutely right. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys in the next video.